Capricorn, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late September 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Capricorn collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these lovely Cappies in late September? We're moving on through the year. What's energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you're cooling into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for the Cappies in late September. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this first card out nice and quick for you, hopefully. Sometimes it gets very specific. Okay, cool. I think I've seen her once this week in particular. This is big high priestess types of energy, which is usually an energy that Capricorn can work with, like the water energy. It seems like it can flow. There's a lot of intuition, a lot of energy surrounding this card. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the September subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as I mentioned, I see this card as a big mirror to the High Priestess. Now, this deck isn't a tarot deck, it's an oracle. But if we look at the imagery we see here, we have this older divine feminine figure. She looks wise. She has a pretty stern or blank face going on there, crystal ball with a key inside it, and there's a lockbox right next to her. So that kind of implies that she has the answers. Her intuition tells us something. She has a lot of information. So all these symbols just really scream High Priestess to me. So for some of you, maybe you're connected to Pisces or water sign. That could be their energy showing up here simply. But the good thing about the High Priestess is the intuition. So whatever you're going through, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, like you might have a stronger intuition than you normally do, where it's like, I feel something in the air. I can't quite put my finger on it. Spirit might want you to follow that intuition. This is great for any sort of spiritual practice as well. So if you're connecting or reconnecting with your spirituality, this is beautiful. The only thing that I get a little leery about with the High Priestess energy is she can sometimes be secretive, right? She's a shrouded energy. So she's secretive, a little in the shadows. So it could sometimes be a surprising energy. But we'll see if that shows up throughout the reading. We're just going to let her chill right there. She can keep doing her fortune telling. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for the Cappies. What do we got? And while we shuffle this deck and get it ready to rock, let's talk about last week's reading. I liked what I saw for you last week. The reading was titled A Massive Breakthrough. So again, for some of you, if this energy bleeds over for a couple weeks, even better, because it felt like something that may have been impeding you or getting in your way, it's like I finally pushed through. There was like a pressure buildup. So if you're dealing with any situations where you're feeling the pressure or you're feeling a buildup, this energy could pop in a good way. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's. But yeah, I saw a lot of gains in last week's reading for you. But let's get it going. 3 cards here for Cappy in late September. What do we have for the Capricorns? Thank you. Okay, 5 of Cups. All right. It's a little gloomy, a little down. Again, it doesn't have to be you here. I usually like to start with an action card. So I'm like, all right, why is the River of Tears here? Something bothering you? Let's see. 10 of Wands. Yeah, it's heavy. Okay. And again, even though these cards are seen as potentially challenging cards, it doesn't mean the reading is going to be a total flunker, right, or a total drag. We just have to see what else shows up here. All right, Ace of Wands. So I do like this. This is more of a revitalized energy. So we have a similar theme that we saw last week, and there's going to be a bit of a difference, especially with this Ace of Wands on the back end, because that does change the complexion a little bit. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, you know I always look at the elements first. Very important. It tells us where the energy is and how quick it might be moving. And as I'm sure you could see here, you have a lot of Wands energy right here on the back end. That's fire. And I always say fire is the realm of action, physical action, the actions we take, the actions others take. It's filled with passion, drive, desire, and burn. So it's a very motivated type of energy, which I really do like. Um, the only downside with so much fire is the unpredictability, right? And I saw it last week. If you remember, it was like a massive breakthrough, and there was like this energy buildup. Fire kind of fits that mold to me. So again, there could be an unpredictability to it. It could be a little bit volatile, but I think the way we get here on the back end feels refreshed. Now on the front, we do have water. That's a complementary energy too, even though the Five of Cups isn't seen as the most positive card. The energy it contains, emotions, feelings, your internal world. It could be creativity, right? It could be your imagination for some of you. But yeah, it's an odd mixture when we mix fire and water. So we're going to have to see how it all plays out. Let's start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with the Five of Cups. Now, it is nicknamed the River of Tears. A lot of readers do call it that. And we see our friend there dressed all in black, right? He's all gothed out. And there's 3 cups that appear spilled. There's 2 cups that are still standing. Now, whenever we get a challenge card, I always like to say it's on a spectrum. Like, so this doesn't always have to be worst case scenario. Doesn't mean the sky is falling. Doesn't mean you're going to have a terrible week or anything like that. It could just be a little down, right? It might feel a little zapped. Your energy might feel a little bit drained. You could just be a little bit gloomy. But the Five of Cups can also represent an energy that's depressed, anxious, nervous. So we're going to have to see. And sometimes it could even be anger. Like you get what I'm saying. These are the heavier energies when we see the Five of Cups. And if it's not you, it could be somebody else, right? So, of course, it could represent some sort of situation or problem that might be taking a bit of a toll. Now, the good thing, I already mentioned, not all of the cups are spilled. There are still things off in the background. So when we get these challenging number 5 cards, they're not permanent. To me, it's more of like a bump in the road or a hurdle of some sort, like a temporary setback of some sort. So we do want to take a very close look at that Five of Cups. And again, for some of you, maybe you're just feeling a little zapped. Maybe you're just a little gloomy for a couple days. It doesn't have to be like full on brokenheartedness and crying alone at night. Now, in the middle, we do have the Ten of Wands, and the reason I'm going to take a closer look at this is especially since it's next to the Five of Cups, and we see this individual. They have a big bundle of wands over their shoulder. They're working hard. So let's talk about the good aspects of this first. Be a little optimistic, right? The Ten of Wands is determination. So it's like can't stop, won't stop. I won't quit. I won't give up. Those are big Capricorn traits, right? Like from my experience with Capricorns, when you set your mind to something, when you commit to something, whether it's work or whatever it might be, I will see this through. Big Capricorn vibes here. So I love the determination because it's like no matter how hard it gets, I'm going to keep moving. So I like it. Now, in the challenge, this is a burdened energy. It's heavy. So whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically, I have been getting little hints of that so far that some of you just might be a little tired or zapped. So whether it's from a situation or in general, try not to overload your plate, especially with this Ten of Wands. Worst case scenario, this card could represent guilt. Worst case scenario, this card could sometimes represent like rejections because it's similar to the Nine of Wands in that way. So we'll just have to take a look. And I also say when it comes to physical health, this is a card that does connect to that. So watch anything involving your neck, back, or spine. Okay, like to me, there's just something with the back, so try not to hold pressure there. Now, moving to the back end, we have the Ace of Wands. This is what I really like. This is what I'm looking towards in the reading, especially when we have all this heavy energy up in the front. The Ace of Wands, as with all aces, represents new, fresh offers, opportunities, and especially since it's an Ace of Wands, it's like boom, it's like a kaboom, an explosion in a good way. So it's like we have an energy drain and then an energy pickup. So again, this feels refreshed and revitalized to me, hopefully. Okay, because again, as with all fire, it could get a little bit wild. It could just be a conversation, but I feel optimistic about this Ace of Wands in particular. Now, one thing with aces, they're not always a guarantee, right? Like it's an energy where it's like, all right, well, if you don't hop on it soon enough, it's gonna make its way out. But the way the energy flows, I like the back end so far. I want to dive deeper on all the Capricorn. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for my friends. What's happening? What's going on? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot. because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Five of Cups. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cappy, drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Five of Cups time. Let's see. Let's see if we could do a little problem resolution here for my good friends. Thank you. Yeah, someone just feels off. Okay. So we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse underneath this Five of Cups. Now, to me, this is like feeling a type of way, but not being able to help it. Like, sometimes you could try to be positive in your head where you're like, I'm staying optimistic, I'm staying positive, but that might be harder for somebody. Again, I'm not saying it's you. It could just be someone in your orbit that's like feeling quite down. The Two of Pentacles is usually a card of harmony, right? Balance. You see this person, they're balancing things. So when it shows up in reverse underneath the Five of Pentacles, it's like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's happening here. So this can be a situation or problem that someone's having a hard time putting their finger on it, where it's like, all right, well, I should feel okay about this, or why is this affecting me so much? That's the first thing I'm feeling here. So again, watch out for the situations or problems, especially with this alignment. But another thing I have to mention with the Five of Cups, Two of Pentacles in reverse, I see this card as someone juggling a lot of things. The Two of Pentacles. Look, he's literally juggling. And there's been a little underlying theme here about potential burnout or something draining your energy. So whether it's a situation, whether it's a person where it's like, oh, this energy is just draining me. I don't know what's going on here. It is showing up in the spread this week, where whether it's a person or a situation, there's just something where it's so draining. So try your best in this time to recuperate energy and not to add more to your plate if possible. Right? Let's keep moving. Let's see what the Ten of Wands has. Because we're already seeing this drained type of energy. Let's go in on the 10. So it's a little bit of a warning so far. There's that 10 of Wands here. Thank you. Okay. I mean, I like the grit. I like the determination. Because this is an energy, like, even though we have this vibe up front of whatever the situation or problem is, it's like, don't worry about it. It's like someone being very stoic, stiff upper lip, where it's like, no, nothing's bothering me. I don't care. I've been through worse. Nothing can phase me. And that is something I really do admire about Capricorns, right? They're not going to let little things or even big things get in the way of certain plans. So that's a vibe I'm picking up here. Now, the Knight of Wands could be a fire sign you're connected to. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Usually it's a card of action and movement. So again, we got this fire. Even though this energy feels drained, it's like, this is draining, but I am not stopping. Now, the only thing that we really need to watch out for, especially as we move into this Ace of Wands with all this fire, is like the unpredictability or that type of factor where it's like, whoa, where'd this all come from? The energy was so low. Now it's super high. So there might be a warning here about explosive situations or volatility in general. Okay. I'm a big believer in trying to balance things as good as possible. I'm not a big fan of extremes. So I'm kind of getting the potential here for an extreme. I do love the no quit. So I feel like this energy, it splits for some of you. For a portion so far, we have an energy that's feeling zapped or drained by a situation where it's just like draining energy, but it's like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to keep going. But there's a volatility to it. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. So for some of you, if you're just being stoic and not quitting and just keeping it pushing, keeping it moving, I like it. But all this fire on the back end is definitely making me raise a little eyebrow. Let's see what's up with the Ace of Wands, because that's when we get into more action. Because this energy could be seen as forcing something. Let's see what the Ace of Wands has. Why is it here for my Cappies? Please. Thank you. Okay. All right. We have the Three of Cups in reverse. All right. So for some of you, with the Three of Cups in reverse underneath this Ace of Wands, I'm getting someone potentially losing their temper. I'm getting someone potentially, I don't want to say it's like they're snapping, but it's like, I don't have the energy for this. So again, like Three of Cups, all threes to me represent groups of people. And Three of Cups is a very social card. So when I see it in reverse underneath the Ace of Wands, it's like, I don't have time for that. I can't put energy into that. For some of you, this could be like an explosive talk or a message where it's like, you know what, I'm not biting my tongue anymore, because that's another thing I'm starting to feel where it's like, I don't feel good about it. I'll suppress it. Nope, I'm not suppressing anything. So any conversation or communication, whether it's coming at you quick or it's something that intensifies quickly, we do have this little bit of a volatility warning in the energy. Now, the Three of Cups, yeah, it can represent third parties and stuff like that. I don't like to go down that road. To me, I think of happiness, joyousness, merriment. These people are having a really good time and they're being social, coming together. So, in reverse, underneath this Ace of Wands, maybe some of you are simply in hermit mode, where it's like, you know what, I don't really feel like talking to that person, or I don't really feel like talking to people in general. So, you might be a little extra private in this time, more so than normal. And that might be a good thing, right? Because I do get this energy where it's like, I don't have the energy for this, or it's an energy that just seems to boop. I'm just going to let it rip. So there's a couple little warnings here. I don't think it's bad per se. Like, the energy still pushes through regardless of what's going on. I love the no quit, but let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. If you kindly look in the box, position number 1 here, we have the Five of Cups with the Two of Pentacles in reverse. I did say initially it could be a problem or a situation where someone can't quite put their finger on what's bothering them. There could be certain things where you're just feeling drained. So whether it's by a person, whether it's work, it's like, oh, this is exhausting. Um, Another portion of you, it's very important that you don't overload yourself. Don't burn yourself out. Don't put too much on your agenda, on your plate. It could be about pacing yourself. Moving to the center, we have the Ten of Wands with the Knight of Wands. So some of you might not take that advice, right? That's an energy that pushes through no matter what, where it's like, don't worry about it. I got this. I've been through worse. This doesn't bother me. And that is an aspect I love about Capricorn energy, like that determined, I will never stop. I really like that. Now, for some of you, this could be someone that pushes a little too hard, right? Especially with what we have here on the back end. So this could be a little bit of a warning about like volatility, where it's like this energy pushes or forces or just does too much. Because on the back end, we have the Ace of Wands with the Three of Cups in reverse. And to me, this does feel like an explosive talk or message, or just someone may have been suppressing something and then they decide, screw it, I'm not suppressing a damn thing. I'm going to say what's on my mind. For some of you, if you're not in hermit mode here, it might be a good thing, especially if there's people or things where you just don't have the energy for it. Maybe it's good to have a little me time, right? Because there's a few warnings sprinkled in here. Lots of fire. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. So let's get you one. Let's see what we have for the Cappies. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going. What do we got for the Cappies, please? Thank you. Three of Pentacles. So more threes. So yeah, there is this little warning about like the surrounding people. Like for a lot of you, I think like your energy, I like how it's showing up for the most part. But with this Three of Cups in reverse and now the Three of Pentacles in the shadows, this one does have a different complexion. Usually the Three of Cups to me is a card of work, career, keeping oneself busy, something to put energy into. So again, watch that you're not overdoing it, because this is a card of effort and working. So there is that consistent theme we've been seeing here about pacing yourself. But to me, I'm also getting a big focus about the people around you. So again, I'm not saying your temper is going to be completely short, but your patience could be a little thin in this time when I see this card, especially if there's somebody making something more difficult than it needs to be, right? Like if you're dealing with any individuals and they're just like, how do I work with this person, or how can I work with you? Just be cautious of the people around you, because their energy might have more of an effect than you think. So we're going to leave it at that, Capricorn. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the September subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you could book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The September calendar is already live, so we could have ourselves a little chat. But for the September subscriber surprise, giving away 3 copies of one of my favorite decks ever, the Everyday Witches Tarot. It's great for beginners and experienced readers. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the zodiac signs, which ones do you get along best with? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As usual, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.